Hello and welcome to another video on Samean 7 Sanctuary, and in this video I'm going to be talking about how you can create stillness. And when I talk about stillness, I'm talking about complete stillness of the mind. No thoughts, no worries, no fears, just being present and being so present in that moment that all you have is that moment. And stillness, in my opinion, is the key to a healthy and stable mind. And without it, so many of us get caught in the trap of just being on autopilot and being stuck on autopilot and not actually appreciating the world for what it really is and not actually living our true lives or our best lives. So if you're curious about what I've got to say, then carry on watching. First of all of us have created moments of stillness in our lives, and we have stillness all the time. But there's different ways of creating it for ourselves, and there's also ways of doing it consciously. And that's the thing that I want to talk about. And some ways work better than others, but regardless of that, everyone can do it. So this method that I'm talking about is, of course, meditation. And in my opinion, that is the truest form of stillness. It allows your mind to be completely still, and it also allows your body to be completely still as well. So everything is still. And when I say it, I know that you might probably respond with one of these three responses, which, speaking from my own personal experience, I used to use myself. And that is, I don't have time, I get bored, or I don't know how. So with the I don't have time and the I get bored responses, they kind of tie in together. And like I said, I used to use those excuses myself, and that's exactly what they are. They're just excuses. And I want to put that into context for you. I want you to understand that we all have 24 hours in a day, and that works out to 1,440 minutes. So if we really can't find 10 to 20 minutes of our day to allow our minds to be still, then really what are we doing with ourselves throughout the day? Are we really that busy that we can't find that time to spare? And if we are that busy, is that really a healthy lifestyle? Is that really a lifestyle of balance? And when it comes down to doing the things that you want to do, it's just about prioritizing what you think is important to you or how you want to spend your time. And like I said, training your mind to be still allows for a healthy and stable mindset. So, is your mental health a priority? And if it's not, should it be? If you're anxious, if you're depressed, if you've got any mental health issues, and I'm not saying that it's going to be a quick fix, but I am saying that training our minds to be still and allowing our minds to be still on a regular basis will definitely help all of these issues that we create for ourselves. And until we experience it for ourselves, it's hard to relate to it. I get that, but trust me on this one, because I was in exactly the same boat as you were. So then leading on to the next excuse, which is an excuse: boredom. What about boredom? I get bored. I can't sit and be still for 10 or 20 minutes because you feel agitated or you feel restless and you feel like you need to do something, or you feel like it's a waste of your time. You can't be bothered to just sit and be still. Have you ever thought about that on a deeper level? Have you ever thought about that more seriously and taken time to go into that? Doesn't the fact that you can't be still for 10 or 15 or 20 minutes tell you something about your mindset and how you need this constant stimulation to keep you active, to keep you engaged, and to keep you in a state of fulfillment? And like I previously mentioned, it's about balance, and that right there says that things are probably a little bit out of balance if you kind of need constant stimulation and constant fulfillment all the time. And there's probably a load of other reasons and excuses that people give to not try a meditation or not even considering it. And making up your mind about something before you've even tried something or before you even understand it is ignorance. Now that we've spoken about the excuses to meditation, how about the how? How do we do that? And there's loads of different types of meditation techniques that you'll be able to find on the internet, but the method that I'm talking about is mindful meditation. And mindful meditation is literally just being still, no music, no nothing, no distractions, just focusing on your breath. And that's all there is. And what this meditation trains us to do is it trains our minds to be still, and it trains us to stop the distraction that's always going on our minds, knowingly or unknowingly. And for the naysayers that say that our minds can never truly be still, that is true. Our minds are supposed to think. It's what they do. Thoughts are supposed to happen. They're supposed to come in and out. If not, then how would we do anything? But there's a difference between thinking and being mindful about thinking. And when you're being mindful about thinking, what that is when these thoughts come into your head, you're not getting lost in these thoughts, and you're not getting so sucked into them that there's nothing else going on except for that thought. So when you're mindful about a thought, You know that the thought's there, you're aware of it, but you allow it to come in and you allow it to leave and disappear just as easily as it came in. And when you practice meditation and mindful meditation, you can allow yourself to get into really deep states that you've probably never been into before. And you truly understand that these thoughts that come in, they aren't necessarily you. You're far bigger than these thoughts and essentially your mind in this world. So instead of getting lost in these thoughts, you observe these thoughts that happen, and you know and you realize that you're actually the observer of these thoughts and you're something completely separate to these thoughts. And that might sound a bit crazy or a bit out there, but really, if you are the one that essentially created these thoughts, then where did they come from? And if you did create these thoughts, then why did you not know that they were going to come? And for the doubters, again, that say, well, I see something and then I think of something and that creates a thought. Well, what about when you've got your eyes closed, when you're meditating? What brings on the thoughts then? What triggers the thoughts then? Nothing. It arises from nothing. And if we truly control that, then we'll be able to stop it completely. And like I said, we never can. We won't be able to do that. Our minds are trained to think. But what meditation is about, and what mindful meditation is about allowing your mind and allowing your true self to work in harmony. Not allowing your mind to be the controller of your life anymore, and not allowing the mind, which is the voice in your head, which stops us from doing so many things in our lives, which stops us from doing all the things that we wanted to do. And it might be hard to get your head around that, but think of it like this. Let's use this analogy. Say you've got an insecurity, which all of us do. And sometimes when you think about this insecurity, you let it cripple you and you let it take over you, and then it essentially stops you from doing things. And then other times, this insecurity comes into your mind and you just observe it, you acknowledge that it's there, and then you let it disappear, or you let it go back to where it came from, and then you carry on with what you were doing. Why is it that sometimes it completely cripples you and other times it doesn't? Why is it sometimes that it stops you from doing things and other times it doesn't? That's because sometimes, unknowingly, you've got control of your mind and other times you don't. And as with everything we do, when we practice something, it becomes easier. And the same applies to meditation. So at first, when we start meditating, obviously these thoughts are going to come and go, and we're going to get so sucked into them that we get lost in them. And then as soon as we realize we've got lost in a thought, 30 seconds later, we're getting lost in another one. And that's why mindful meditation is so important, because when we're mindful about these thoughts that come in, we get to a space where we can allow these thoughts to come in, and we just observe them coming in and we observe them going out. And sometimes when we meditate, sometimes we're going to have good days, sometimes we're going to have bad days. Some days are going to seem harder than others. Some days are going to feel really relaxed and easy and you had a good time, and then other days you're going to feel a lot of resistance, you're going to feel restless, you're going to feel agitated. And that's why it's something we practice. Just that consistent practice that compounds over time, that eventually allows you to get into a space where it becomes easy every time, and you enjoy it and you look forward to it, and you look forward to that moment of stillness that you create for yourself in your day. And as soon as you can do that, you can control that voice that's in your head, that annoying voice that tells us, no, we can't do that. And all of us fall into that trap. All of us let that voice dictate our lives. When we control our minds, we start saying yes to the things that we wanted to do. We start living life to the fullest, and we start flowing instead of resisting. We start living life the way that we truly want to live our life, and being in alignment with our higher self. And until you've tried it yourself, and until you've really dedicated a certain amount of time to practicing stillness, then you're never going to know the potential benefits that it could have for you. And I'm never going to speak about something that I haven't experienced myself, and something that I can't speak about truly. And I can speak about this truly wholeheartedly. And I know when I speak about it, because I'm the same when I listen to other people speak about things, well, if you haven't experienced it yourself, then you don't really believe it. So that's what I say to you. Try it for yourself. Give that to yourself. Allow yourself to have 10 to 15 to 20 minutes a day to find stillness and create stillness for yourself. What have you got to lose? You've only got things to gain. And before you say, oh, I'm going to lose time, you ain't losing time. You can never lose time. You can only spend it. So what do you choose to spend your time on? What's a priority to you? What's important to you? So that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed what I had to say, and I'll see you in the next one.